Torsatel. You can't spell loyalty without the L-A-L.
Welcome back to Laker Musings, where Laker loyalty meets analytical prowess. I am your host, Jason Muze, a.k.a. the Black Muse. And if you're part of this Laker loyalty family, I want you guys to go ahead, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, drop your take in the comments, and follow us everywhere through the link tree on all socials and on YouTube in the description. Let's keep these conversations alive on every platform and help us grow our growing and budding community here at Laker Loyalty. All right, tonight we have 6 segments that span from buzzer beaters to citywide culture shifts. And here's what's coming up. Number 1, Lakers in their last game edged out Wemby and the Spurs to grab the 2 seed in the West. And we want to revisit what Laker Loyalty called months ago when others were doubting the Lakers, and yours truly predicted that the Lakers through the first 20 games are going to go 15-5. It's looking like that prediction is going to come true if the Lakers don't perform even better than that. Number 2, we're going to talk about how the Lakers are off to a better start than anyone predicted, which dovetails off of topic number 1, despite getting bit by the injury bug early. And a lot of those questions that we had from the summer are now being answered affirmatively, or in a way that I think Laker fans are pleased with. Number 3, we're going to talk about how the Dodgers championship and preceding that Kendrick Lamar's victory in that epic rap battle versus Drake has rekindled LA's unique winning cultural energy, and how the Lakers are likely to ride that wave all season. Number 4, we're going to talk about the Ja Morant saga and whether or not the Lakers, as Samurai, a.k.a. Egyptian Laker, has stated, broke Ja. My take on that, and whether or not Pelinka should even think about trading for Ja. Number 5 out of 6, we're going to talk about whether Dalton Connect is damaged goods or is he just in a slump, and we're going to diagnose that. And last but not least, number 6, I'm going to give you a game day preview. We got a 5-road game that starts tonight in about an hour. The road trip kicks off with against Atlanta, who are about as shorthanded as the Lakers. No Trae Young, and as I'll show you, no Nickeil Walker-Alexander, and others like Luke Kennard are out as well. So all of that coming to you now. Let's get into it. I want to start with segment number 1. The Lakers getting the 2 seed by beating Wemby and the Spurs. Now, my take has been that when it comes to the future, the road to the championship in the West for the Lakers is going to go through Wemby and the Spurs. Wemby is a budding star. The Lakers, despite being shorthanded, were able to eke out a win in a close game, a nail-biter that came to the end, and even a missed free throw by the Spurs at the end. We had Rui Hachimura, who has had a low IQ on defense, taking charges in crucial moments. It was a wild game, and I enjoyed watching it, but I was on the edge of my seat, and I was a little frustrated by how the Lakers almost gave that away. But the Lakers edged it out, and we got the 2 seed in the West. We're 7-2 in the West. And behind us are now the Spurs and I believe the Denver Nuggets, which I'll show you guys in a second. So it was a 1-possession thriller that came down to the end of the game, if you guys saw it. We had a defensive stop against Wemby by Rui Hachimura. He took a charge, and that actually ended up with Wemby fouling out of the game with like a minute left in the game. It was such a great positive play. There's even a shot of your bro Mookie Betts, because the Dodgers were in attendance, and I actually think that contributed to the Lakers' sense of urgency and the kind of like win or go big or go home, win all or nothing mentality that they displayed at the end of that game, because they easily could have gave that game up. Didn't. They showed fight despite being shorthanded. That next man up energy was palpable, and I think that the champion Dodgers being present really made a statement for the Lakers, and I think that impacts the culture of winning in LA, and I'm gonna talk more about that in a later segment. So the energy at Crypto.com was palpable. I mean, it was vibrant. The arena was electric. This win officially locks in the 2 seed in the West, as I said before, and that gives us validation for the roster construction that we did in the summer. And there was a lot of doubt about that roster construction. And I saw the positives, but even I recognized that a lot of the positives that I saw were in potential at that time, and we needed to see the Lakers play. Well, we've started to see it. The Lakers are starting to put that together, and thanks in large part to J.J. Redick. but also Rob Pelinka for making the moves necessary. A lot of people felt like the Lakers were off to a bad start by losing Dorian Finney-Smith, but then you turned that $15 million salary into a younger Jake LaRavia who basically gives you the same thing. And by the way, Dorian Finney-Smith is hurt. Nothing against him, but he wouldn't be able to contribute to us right now had we had kept him. We also turned that salary into DeAndre Ayton, which fixes our center need, which we desperately, sorely needed last year. And we also got Marcus Smart, who just 3 years ago was Defensive Player of the Year as a guard in the NBA. And he's phenomenal right now. DeAndre Ayton is playing phenomenal right now. Jake LaRavia is playing phenomenal basketball right now, giving us everything we thought Dalton Connect could give us, but he's giving it to us on both ends on the floor. Hashtag who is number 12? Ask Ant-Man. So you got to love it as a Lakers fan. Laker Nation, stand up. Laker loyalists, stand up. You know what's up. And to win against such a class act organization, now they're budding and they're developing and they'll get better in the near future, but they're still good enough to beat you today. And the Lakers being shorthanded, no Reeves. I do believe Luka played, but no LeBron. Those are two of our best offensive weapons, not in the game, going up against a Wemby, right? The fact that the Lakers strategically got Wemby in foul trouble early was a brilliant strategy that was very well executed by the Lakers, okay? And we got non-rotational guys getting significant minutes right now because we're so shorthanded, and they're giving us quality minutes. I mean, shout out to Bronny, even in year 2, he's giving us quality, 6, 7, 8 minutes a game, and he's doing a lot of stuff that don't show on the score sheet, but they're still phenomenal. Getting steals, running fast breaks, getting easy buckets on the end. We just need him to give us that solid amount of contribution in those minutes where we got to put him in the game to give our guys rest. And so you got to love it. You just do. So I want to take us on a flashback to the summer, where we were witnessing the Lakers roster construction, and the Lakers picked up Ayton after losing Dorian. First, we got Jake from State Farm, hashtag Jake LaRavia, hashtag who is number 12. And we got DeAndre Ayton, which was definitely, he had just got bought out by Portland, and so he became a natural fit for what the Lakers were looking for. And before that, there was talk of trying to reconstruct the Mark Williams trade, or trying to get somebody from the Suns who are collecting centers that they don't even need, like they were Pokemon cards, trying to hog them, trying to set it up so the Lakers had to come begging and groveling and giving up all of our trade assets for that. We got DeAndre Ayton on a buyout for like $8 million clutch. Rob Pelinka gets his flowers because it's working out. Somebody saw the vision. And by the way, DeAndre Ayton, I believe, was the number 1 overall pick in the same season that Luka was drafted, in the same draft class. And now they're playing together. Luka was responsible for recruiting Marcus Smart, by the way. And so we got 3 very solid players with very high question marks on them. And those questions are being answered in a way I think the Laker loyalists are happy about. And Laker loyalty, when we first launched, we were predicting in general that the Lakers would be a top 3, top 4 seed. And I was very clear that I thought that the Lakers had the potential to be a top 3 seed, but that we needed to see those unanswered questions, how they were going to be answered. Were we going to get bit early by the injury bug, which we have, but despite that, we're still the 2 seed in the West. How the other teams were going to be performing, how Ayton specifically was going to be performing, whether or not Austin Reeves would continue to take that leap, whether or not we would get improved defense from the Lakers as a whole. And those questions are starting to become answered. Now, we got bit by the injury bug. Bron has been out. He hasn't played a single game yet. That wasn't anticipated at first. We had other people in and out of the lineup. I think Luka missed 1 or 2 games. Austin Reeves has missed like 2 games, and it will miss tonight's game. And I'll more on that later. But the next man up mentality is palpable in the Lakers locker room. And the Lakers are winning the games that they should win right now because this is the easiest part of their schedule. The first 15 to 20 games represent the easiest part of the Lakers season schedule right now. The strength of schedule is weaker than it will be later on. And so we need to win these games, even though we're shorthanded, and the Lakers are taking it very seriously. So far, so good. Very happy about the Smart pickup. Smart is phenomenal. He's doing all kinds of extra things that is like the chef's kiss. Like he's really being such a positive influence on the Lakers locker room. he's stepping up in ways that are infectious, and they make guys like DeAndre Ayton, who's had a history of being lackluster at times on the defensive end. He's showing a lot of effort and is tapping into the culture that I think J.J. Redick is reifying and maximizing for the Lakers. I love the LaRavia pickup. He's turning a lot of heads now, and part of it is because when you're under the spotlight in that Lakers uniform, it attracts eyes and people watch. I mean, we have one of the biggest fan bases and most noticeable franchises in all of pro sports generally and in the NBA in particular. So when you ball for the Lakers, everybody knows about it. So Marcus Smart's been a godsend. Ayton has been phenomenal doing his job, and LaRavia has been great. Those are the three key signings in the offseason. Now, Dalton Connect has had, I think, one good game so far, and I'm going to talk more about Dalton Connect later. I like what I'm seeing from Bronny, what little I've seen so far. And Gabe Vincent, before he got hurt, was great as well. But I love what I've seen from Nick Smith Jr., especially in that second game versus Portland, where he was actually one of the biggest contributors to that win. One of the leading scorers, top three leading scorers, had like 25 to 28 points, all three of those scorers, 25 to 29 points. And what this, to me, signals the most is that among the questions that we needed answered, one of the biggest ones has been answered in a wonderful way for Laker loyalists. And that is, what is the team chemistry going to be like? And the team chemistry question has been answered, it seems. Chemistry beats flash. Team chemistry can take a mediocre team to contention. And the Lakers are far but mediocre. But a lot of people peg them as being mediocre. And that team chemistry is showing. And the last time we had maximal team chemistry, we won a whole ass championship, and that was in 2020. Pandemic and all. One of the toughest championships LeBron has ever won. One of the toughest championships anybody has ever competed for. We won that shit. Didn't even get a parade because of COVID, but we won that shit in the bubble. Now, a lot of people try to downplay what we accomplished in that context, like their team wasn't trying to win and then lost, but we won't have to talk about that because the Lakers are going to win again. And everybody's going to try some kind of excuse like they always do when we win. The league conspired. There's other conspiracy theories. Some of y'all are implying that LeBron coming back is going to ruin things. When LeBron comes back and doesn't ruin things and is obviously an asset to the team and makes the Lakers that much better, and we start doing things like, I don't know, blowing out OKC like we did last year, then y'all are going to be trying to argue that the Lakers are legit a super team. I see your narrative coming. You guys are not difficult to predict. When that happens, y'all will be trying to argue that the Lakers with LeBron is a super team. The same people who are arguing, stupidly, by the way, that the Lakers are going to be somehow worse off with LeBron on the floor. When you see that that's not true and that the opposite is true, you're going to argue, in fact, the Lakers are a super team. And that's some kind of cheating or untoward manipulation in the background resulting in our Lakers winning. Because you can't admit that our franchise is better than yours. We're great. We've been great. Greatness permeates our culture, not only in the city of LA, but specifically with the franchise of the Lakers. It's what it is. That's why we got all them championship banners. That's why we're one of the most winningest franchises in all of pro sports. And your team isn't. Period. Now, there's an exception. If you're a Celtics fan, first of all, boo you. But secondly, you're one of the most winningest franchises too. Now, most of your wins came before the merger, but it's cool because those championships still count. I'm not going to not count those championships like y'all try to discount ours with the Mickey Mouse ring comments, the bubble ring comments. Nah, championships are championships. If everybody else had an opportunity to compete for the same championship and they lost and your team won, then it counts. I want to hear that shit. But moving on. Chemistry beats flash. Chemistry is everything, and the Lakers are demonstrating it right now. So kudos on the Lakers roster construction by Rob Pelinka and others. Kudos on J.J. Redick maximizing what he has. Kudos on everybody on the team, even when they're injured and can't play on the floor, participating off the court. Like LeBron be at the games, and it's clear that he's involved. He's not giving you the attitude of a Ja Morant where he's separate from the team and he don't even care and he's not involved. LeBron's engaged. It's obvious. He's joking and fraternizing with his teammates because LeBron knows what this team is. I think LeBron is happy as hell that he gets to come back to a team that's already really good without him and is going to be that much better with him. So as I said 3 times before, chemistry beats flash. Smart and Ayton have brought or have reified identity and rebounding that analytic models have underrated and defensive stops that analytic models have underrated. They just have. And by the end of the year, it'll be interesting to see the extent to which they're starting to get recognized for what they're already off to a great start producing for this team. Like, this is an opportunity for Aiden's breakout year. This is an opportunity for Marcus Smart to return to 3 years ago when he won Defensive Player of the Year. This is an opportunity for Jake LaRavia to become the new budding star, role player turned star. And this is definitely an opportunity for Austin Reeves to legitimately become an all-star caliber player. I mean, he's already going in that direction. And and by the way, this is an opportunity for LeBron to show everybody that even though he's turning 41, he's still that nigga for real. And also, this is revenge season for Luka. The synergy of all of these players' stories is making for a very potent narrative and playoff-bound, finals-bound trajectory for this team already after about 8 games. So this is exciting for Laker Nation. Hashtag thank you, Nico, for that dumbass trade that benefited us. So here's a rhetorical question for you guys right now. Who's laughing now? I hate to be the one to tell you, but I tried to tell you. We told you so. And now that we're clearly right and y'all were clearly wrong, I'll accept your apologies in the comments down below. Laker gang in this bitch. We're not playing around. The winning culture in LA is palpable. And if we don't win this year, we certainly win it in the next couple years because we got a Luka now. Slim Thug, Killer Luka. Revenge tour, revenge season Luka. All the fat jokes is real hush-hush and quiet now. Don't nobody want to make them jokes no more. We got Mavs Nation on suicide watch, watching Luka ball out like that. Meanwhile, AD's hurt again. Lakers dodged a bullet with that one. And Klay Thompson, I don't know what the hell happened to him. Takashi Wasa or whatever. He got his legs weak. He weak in the knees. He can't shoot no more. It's like Megan Thee Stallion took his powers like Space Jam from the 90s, bro. Like she's playing for the Monstars or something. Like, what's going on with Klay Thompson? I got to cover that in another segment, bro. But that's for another day. All right. So I want to invite you guys to answer that question, which I'll repeat right now. Who's laughing now? Make your comments known down below. And I want to get into my second segment. So here's segment number 2. The Lakers have started stronger than expected despite injuries. I want to key in on that. So remember this? Season opener, Lakers lost to the Warriors. Everybody lost their minds. Lakers aren't contenders. Lakers ain't going nowhere. Lakers can't do anything. And it was embarrassing to watch that. And it was frustrating to watch the Lakers lose to a mediocre Warriors team that didn't even make that many moves. I don't even know if Al Horford played all that much in the season opener, if at all. They're aging and old. Their window is on the verge of closing. It's been opened a little bit wider because of Jimmy Butler. Shout out to Jimmy Butler. He's a hell of a player when he wants to be. But Pods and them ain't doing shit this year. They're just not. Great organization, great franchise. They know they have a winning culture there. I'm not trying to make it seem like they ain't got nothing, but they ain't winning shit this year. There's too many teams in the West that are better than them, and one of those teams is the Lakers. So watching the Lakers lose to them on opening night was frustrating because I knew that we were better than what we showed. So a lot of people were down on the Lakers. They thought that proved after one game sample size, that the Lakers ain't shit and that the offseason moves didn't matter. Well, now, 8 games in, Lakers are the 2 seed in the West. And I believe the Warriors are like the 5th or 6th seed. Now, will it stay that way? We're going to see. I'm not guaranteeing the Lakers are going to stay the 2 seed. But what I am saying is that it's going well for us, a lot better than a lot of people thought it would. So, the season opener, Lakers lose to the Warriors. We have early injuries to rotation players and some of our best players. That didn't look good. But instead of the Lakers folding, instead of the Lakers crumpling, instead of the Lakers running away from that next man up mentality has been monumental. And it shows character. And that's what you need. That needs to be in your championship DNA. We got dudes coming off of our bench dropping almost 30 points on your head that are on nobody's scouting report because nobody expected that from them. We got Nick Smith Jr. dropping 29, 25 points somewhere in there on your head against some of the most elite defenders in the league. I mean, Portland is an elite defensive team so far. I think they're number 1, or at least they were number 1 at the time we played them, in forcing turnovers from other teams. Drew Holiday ain't no scrub. Abdija and them ain't no scrubs. Them young dudes can move their feet. They can sit in the chair. against elite offensive players. We didn't just do this against some trash team that's fading into obscurity or has a weird or odd constructed roster. We did this against the Portland Trailblazers. The Portland Trailblazers have beat the last 3 championship teams this season. They beat OKC. I believe they beat the Bucks, if I'm not mistaken. They definitely beat the Denver Nuggets. And they beat the Lakers the first time we played them. We played them 2 times. So it ain't like Portland is trash. Portland has beat some great teams. Now, is Portland going to end up in the playoffs? I don't know. I don't know what Portland's going to be until Dame comes back. But they're solid, and they're decent defensively. Okay. So all of that looked bad at first, but that next man up kicked in. That next man up mentality kicked in, and that showed what we're made of. So the role players stepped up. Like I said, Marcus Smart, anchoring the defense, Ayton stabilizing paint touches, giving us great offense lately, and LaRavia hitting open looks. Not to mention Austin Reeves' ascendance in the games that he's played, Luka being a smooth criminal, and Rui Hachimura stepping up in ways that I didn't even expect. I knew that the mid-range, that's his bread and butter, and knocking down them open threes is something he's always done consistently. But him taking charges at the end of games to help us win games and foul out the best player of the Spurs, that was something I didn't expect Rui to do. Marcus Smart and JJ Redick and the culture of the Lakers locker room got Rui, of all people, sliding his feet, taking charges like he should. That was a high IQ play from a low IQ defender. I'm loving what I'm seeing. The team is currently outperforming Vegas' projected wins through the first 10 games. We're 6-2, on the verge of being 7-2, I believe, if we win tonight in less than an hour. And so it all comes down to this. The Lakers' depth is built to survive attrition. Apparently, way more than people expected. Nobody was bragging about how deep our bench is. And if we continue to win like this, I guarantee you one of the things that people are going to start acknowledging is that the Lakers are deep. The Lakers will be competitive no matter who they throw in the game at all talent levels. And by the way, there's a pronounced drop-off if we go too far into the bench. But we got talent up and down the roster that is good enough to win games. We're gritty and tough enough to win games. We're not folded. And I love to see it. I really do. The Lakers have come a long way from not making the playoffs with the failed Russell Westbrook experiment, from having dudes like Juan Toscano Anderson, and at the end of the careers of players like Trevor Ariza and even my man Melo Anthony and DeAndre Jordan and them, Kent Bazemore and them, Wayne Gabriel, which shout out to him because he used to give us a lot on the defensive end, but we were desperate for it. Stanley Johnson and them. Mark Gasol and them. We've come a long way. Kendrick Nunn's non-playing ass and them. So you love to see it. This is a lot better of a roster, and we're building around Luka in the ways that we should. This is undeniable proof, by the way, that Pelinka's front office finally nailed a balanced roster, and it's only going to get better because now our organization is run by the same people who run the Dodgers. That portends well for the front office of the Lakers, making those key moves we need to make, those acquisitions that we need to make, those trades that we need to make in order to maximize our gains in the Luka Doncic era. So I'm going to throw it out to the audience. I want to know what you guys think. After watching these first weeks, does this feel like a contender or just a hot start? Go on record. Put yourself out there. Say it with your whole ass chest. Is this just a hot start that's going to die out when the Lakers' schedule becomes harder? Or does this show that the Lakers are, in fact, contenders? Are you going to double down on the Lakers ain't contenders nonsense? Or are you going to admit you were wrong? Leave a comment down below. I want to hear you guys debate. That leads me to my third section or segment. My third segment is this. The Dodgers were not the ones that rekindled the winning culture in LA. In fact, we've been winning for a while, going all the way as recently as 2020 when the Lakers won the whole last championship. Now, a lot of people wanted to excuse that or not count that. They call it the Mickey Mouse ring. They call it the bubble ring. Okay, but LA teams have been winning every year except, I believe, 2023. Since 2020. Oh, actually, maybe even 2019. So Lakers are a part of that winning culture and that winning DNA. But I submit to you that the rekindling of this winning culture that I think is permeating the Lakers positively right now actually didn't start with the Dodgers. It started with Kendrick and the Drake beef. City is back up. It's a must we outside. They not like us. out here in LA. And so I want to give you this little niche take. When the Dodgers won the World Series, it reset LA's psychological bar for excellence. And I think it contributed to the continuation of the winning culture, but it didn't start there. The spark of the winning culture in LA being back on top, LA being up, was actually Kendrick putting on not only for West Coast, not only for Cali, not only for LA where he's from, but for hip hop as a whole. And there is so much overlap between hip hop culture and basketball sports culture. It's one of the reasons why hip hop songs play on TV timeouts. It's one of the reasons why Kendrick Lamar specifically plays during TV timeouts. And they play all of the latest hip hop at the arenas, at the games. They're popping, they're popular, they're vibes, whole ass vibes. This is one of the reasons why you see NBA players live on stage at concerts, like Kendrick's concert that he threw. When he was performing They Not Like Us. I think that was Black History Month when he did that. So there's a lot of synergy between hip hop culture and sports culture. And LA being back up is definitely something that reinvigorated the winning spirit and culture of LA. And you just have to be from there to know why that makes so much sense. LA is a whole ass vibe, bro. And so anytime you put on for that place-based culture, it permeates into everything that's LA. And LA is back up in a major way because we got major world-class events happening. We got Super Bowl there. We got the Olympics happening there. We got the World Cup happening there, all in consecutive years. Luka became the ambassador of the LA World Cup, actually. So our city's winning in a major way. Despite all of the political turmoil and a lot of the negative stuff that's happening in the city that are negatively implicating people, there's still a lot of winning going on. And that's the character of the city of LA. My city is back up. It's a must. We outside. And we letting everybody know it. And I think that's good. The Lakers are going to ride that wave into the finals and potentially win this year. So I want to emphasize the parallel. Lakers are feeding off a citywide momentum that I just tried to describe and articulate. And you kind of have to be from LA to know what I'm talking about. But just in case you don't, other cities have this vibe, by the way. I think New York is a great city that has its own character and its own vibe. Everybody knows. Jay-Z embodies it. If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And the only reason I have any connection to New York is because I know a special someone that I see in New York. Shout out to her. But I know about it. It's a place where I'm like, I've always been intrigued and enthralled by it. My dream school, although that hasn't panned out, my dream school was always NYU, and in part because New York is a great place. I don't like the cold weather, though. I don't like that East Coast cold. But it's a vibing place. There's other cities, too, like Chicago. Houston is lit. These places, these cities have a whole brand to them and a whole culture to them. And LA is one of many. And so if you can relate if you're from a city that has its own vibe. I mean, even all the way in the country of Canada, there's Toronto. Toronto has its own vibe. Now, it ain't LA. They're not like us, but they have their own vibe. I'm willing to acknowledge that. I don't want to put any shade on any other city. I prefer my city. I have a preference, but I'm not going to shit on other cities like other cities ain't tight, like other cities ain't got their vibe. But that's what I'm talking about just in general. Like you can have a synergy in the place-based culture that permeates through the city and feeds into everything that represents that city, everything that city does. That's what we're talking about here. So that culture is maximized because of all of the stuff that's happening in LA, all the stuff that's popping in LA. My city is back up. It's a must. We outside. So fans, especially Lakers fans, expect a championship. We have a championship mentality. Everywhere from crypto.com to SoFi, we expect to win. It's a part of our DNA. And the Dodgers have manifested that in a way that now you notice the Dodgers are showing up at Lakers games. The Dodgers are showing up at Kings games. I'm not talking about the Sacramento Kings. I'm talking about the Los Angeles Kings in hockey. That is the synergy of the city that we're talking about. And so you love to see it if you're an Angelino. If you have any connection or ties culturally or otherwise to LA, you love to see it. I was born in Torrance, California. Now, my parents moved me out to the suburbs. A lot of my experience of LA has been vicarious. My dad grew up there. He moved us out to the suburbs, so we were in the IE area, but it's still, close to LA. If you guys look behind me, I attended and graduated from UCLA. And while I was there as a college student, I actually used to tutor at Inglewood High School. So my connection and my roots in LA run deep, even though a lot of it is vicarious. My grandma used to live out there. We used to go visit her. We used to go to church out in LA. We used to go shopping out in LA. So all that to say this, and I'm not really trying to like prove my connection to LA so much as just establish that I have one. And that's why I'm so energized by seeing my city back up. All right. So that championship mentality is everywhere. From crypto to SoFi. I still want to call it Staples, but from crypto arena to SoFi. And that cultural context that Kendrick Lamar embodied, that K-Dot embodied, is West Coast victory in hip-hop battles. Reminded the world that LA culture wins. We win in art, we win in sports, we win in cultural vibe, we win in attitude, we win even in the political dynamic, which I'm trying to, I'm not going to get into that. I can, though. I got the range, but I'm trying to keep it sports right now. So we winning. In LA, music and sports in particular share that kind of vibe, that unique LA swag. We don't just compete. We don't just have a competitive culture. We create culture in LA. And it's distinctive. And it's unique. And it's unlike anything else you'll get anywhere else. No denigration to any other place. But we different in LA, bro. We just are. And that energy translates to the court and has so far. That's why the Mamba mentality was so important and distinctive in LA, because we recognize that that is a part of the fabric and the character of LA. To have that we finna win over anything mentality, that Kobe Bryant, who was a folk hero in the city of Los Angeles, Laker legend, Kobe Bryant, the Black Mamba. Bean was different. Bean embodied and represented LA well because of that. And that's why you got so many murals of him and his daughter painted all over the city. And now we got Luka, Slim Thug, Luka the Don, Luka Magic. Same thing. An assassin, okay? This dude, as far as I'm concerned, is a European, Slovenian superhero, okay? That's Luka Doncic, bro. And that character, that winning vibe is really one I want to highlight, even though I've said it several times. So I'll hit you with this. Winning in LA is not an event. It's a culture. It's a frequency that resonates and permeates the city of angels. That's what it means to us. And that the Lakers are tapping into that is beautiful. Because that purple and gold means something to my city. Bro. And hopefully at the end of this season, we're going to win it all. And there's finna be another parade inside my city, yeah. Just like they said after the Dodgers parade, bro. And hopefully we get 2 parades, because I'm never going to drop this. We need to make up for that parade we never got in 2020. We need 2 parades the next time we win. I'm standing on that. Standing on business, as Perk might say. All right, so that ends segment number 3. Now I want to get to segment number 4. We got to talk about the Ja Morant saga. I mean, I don't want to put too many extras on it. I don't want to overplay it or over-exaggerate it. But Ja Morant's public tantrums are symptomatic of, I think, something a little deeper. Now, I don't want to overstate it. It's not clear what it shows. But it doesn't seem like Ja Morant is happy. And to see Ja Morant say that he don't have any joy or imply or suggest that, even though in that interview, I do think that a lot of the frustration he was demonstrating at that second interview was more about the questions. I don't think he liked the questions and the implications of the questions, to be fair to him. But, I've seen Ja Morant be spectacular in a way that lately I haven't seen, and especially in that Laker game. And I think that he was a little demoralized in that specific game. And it might just be relegated to that game. But coaches have been fired from that franchise. And so now there's trade talks. So here's what I want to do. I want to address it, but I don't want to pile on and make it seem like, oh, my God, he's going to get traded. It's for sure. Like, we don't know that. He might finish his career there. We don't know. I think by now he does mean something to the culture of Memphis. And I do think that he likes playing there on some level. But, is he open to that? I don't know. I want to do a wait and see pattern, but here we go. So here's the context. again, I made reference to them, and I've actually shown them in previous episodes. There's been 2 viral clips, right? There was the original one where he was like, go ask the coaches if I should play. Everybody saw that or whatever. And then there was the second one that was a few days later after his suspension, where there was some quick question about Joy and whether he regrets his play, I guess, in the previous game versus the Lakers. And he didn't really answer that question. He kind of was fed up with that. He said that seemed like a gotcha question, or whatever words he used, whatever verbiage he used. And he was right. That was a gotcha question. That question was for clicks, likes, and subs. And people in the media do that shit. Why? Because that's the business model. I get it. But if you're on the receiving end as a player, that shit sucks, because it's like you're hostile to the fact that members of the media are trying to drum up some drama so that they can, get clicks, subs, and likes. They're cloud chasing. That shit's annoying. And he didn't have much patience for it. As well, he should not have, right? That said, he was acting a whole ass after that Lakers game. And he was acting out because I guess he felt disrespected. And I haven't really heard his side of it because he's not really trying to be out with it in the media, but he felt disrespected. I could tell. He felt disrespected. Okay. Now, I would want to hear more details about what the coach actually did and said, because coaches can be out of pocket and they can be disrespectful, especially if you have one of these hard-nosed, no-nonsense coaches. Like, that rubs these young players the wrong way. It's just a part of the culture of where we are. Cool. And if he did some objectively disrespectful shit, like if I found out he said something about Ja's mama or some shit, I'd be like, all right, that's too far. Like, you can criticize your star player without talking about their mama. Now, I'm not saying he did that. I'm just saying that would be an example of where I would be like, all right, I'm on Ja's side. Like, that was rude. I would be mad too if you did that. But apparently there was some calling out of Ja in front of everybody, and Ja didn't like that shit. Right? So, and I do think that as the best player on the team, you are obligated to be, in some sense, a role model for the team and not be a locker room cancer. But it's not clear that Ja Morant was a locker room cancer leading up to this point, though. So we'll see. There's been a lot of social media speculation. So I'm really trying to navigate that part of it because of the context of that. A lot of people are reading into things in ways that are uncareful. And I don't like the uncareful reasoning. That's why I'm not really a conspiracy person, because it's just filled with uncareful reasoning, just illogical, irrational shit. But the plausibility of a lot of the things that people speculate is what makes it seem legitimate. And it is plausible that Ja Morant has become more trouble than what he's worth. That is a plausible thing, and people have already constructed that narrative and taken it and run with it. I'm trying to be more careful. I'm saying I recognize the plausibility, but that doesn't make it true or fact. We need to wait and see until we get more evidence. Now, the way that, and I think he was being tongue-in-cheek, but the way that Egyptian Laker, a.k.a. Samurai the Seventh, to put it is, did the Lakers break Ja Morant? Because it was after that Laker game where a lot of this went down. And Ja Morant only had like 8 points. I think he was like 3 of 15. So he had a very terrible game, way below what he's capable of. And had he played better, the Lakers might have lost, to be honest. What I want to do is I want to give a reality check. And I know that Egyptian Laker probably believes this to a certain extent. The Lakers broke Ja, or maybe he's being playful, tongue-in-cheek. But I want to give a reality check to this. Lakers didn't break Ja. A lot of these things have been symptomatic by Ja having an attitude, him not being on board with some of the stuff that the coaches are saying and doing, have been on display for several seasons now, right? And also Ja getting implicated with that 25-game suspension where he had a gun or whatever, like, that's off-the-court behavior. So that kind of stuff Ja has done before in the past and gotten in trouble for it. He paid his dues, he got his suspension, and he's been good ever since. But there was the firing of the coach that happened last year, right before the playoffs, and then they didn't make it out of the play-in. So there is fair speculation about to what extent Ja Morant is not living up to his potential, both as a superstar but also as a leader in the locker room. So we have to wait and see, because I want to see if that's as bad as people are already saying. But Ja's issues were not caused by the Laker game or sparked by the Lakers playing so good. They predate the Lakers by at least a season. And Ja's issues are pattern behavior. It's not one game, right? Now, are they patterned to the point where we can draw the conclusion that Ja's done in Memphis? No, we don't have enough evidence for that. Are they patterned to the point that we can just declare Ja a locker room cancer? No, I don't think we have enough evidence for that. So we just need to be careful. We need to wait and see. Here's my take. When it comes to the question of whether or not the Lakers specifically should trade for Ja Morant, it is a bit controversial or tricky for me because we don't have the full answers to those questions that I just summarized, which is why I started there. So Pelinka should be leery about trading for Ja Morant. this season or any season in the near future? It's an interesting question because we do need to continue the question of who are we going to acquire for the post-LeBron era. And Ja Morant would be a pretty substantive choice. But on condition that Ja is not going to be up to these shenanigans that we've seen in the past and that Ja is not going to be a locker room cancer. And there's something about the winning culture in LA that would maximize what Ja is in the league. And so Ja might be motivated to, put some of those shenanigans aside, grow up a little bit and do what he does, which is ball out. And it's an interesting question how Ja might respond to somebody like JJ Redick. JJ Redick is no nonsense, but JJ Redick is a player first coach. JJ Redick understands the psychology, I think, to his credit, of the player. So JJ Redick's not going to say some shit that'll disrespect Ja, but he will hold Ja accountable. And so JJ Redick might be the perfect coach for Ja. If that's the case, then Rob Pelinka should make that move if he can, because that's a clear upgrade to our roster. The risk, though, is you bring in a potential locker room cancer if that's in fact what he is or will become. So Ja Morant's talent cannot be denied. Having somebody like Ja Morant on the roster for the Lakers, Laker Ja, would be diabolical. And then, of course, everybody would say we have a super team because we have Luka Doncic and Ja Morant on the same damn team with probably Austin Reeves and DeAndre Ayton. So I think it's tricky, but that's something that we'd have to get answers for before we pull the trigger on that. I don't think that Pelinka should avoid trading for Ja Morant. I think that Pelinka should be very careful about considering that. Now, as of now, we don't have any reason to believe that that's possible. Ja Morant is more likely to be traded to several other franchises. The Lakers don't even have the ability to trade for him unless we get rid of some key players. Like the Grizzlies are probably going to ask for Reeves for Ja. And a lot of people would be willing to make that trade. I would be hesitant because what is clear right now is that Reeves complements Luka very well. What is not clear is if Ja will do the same. Now, there's potential, though, because Kyrie complemented Luka pretty well, and so why couldn't Ja? Now, Ja doesn't shoot as well as Kyrie or Reeves, so that's probably one of the reasons, to be honest with you. So we should look at the X's and O's and not just be drawn in by the fact that we're acquiring another star. I think a lot of casual Laker fans make that mistake and think, oh, my God, he has a big name and he's really good in spurts, so therefore he's going to be good no matter when he's going to fit. Like, that's not necessarily true. But Ja Morant's talent is undeniable. And it probably would make more sense for the Grizzlies to trade to various other franchises, like Atlanta, Sacramento's looking at that, maybe the Spurs. I don't know if they want that, but it will make more sense. Even the Clippers, who are old as hell, to get Ja Morant would help them out tremendously. So it would make more sense probably for him to go to any one of those other franchises if he's going to be traded. But Ja Morant, if he's going to be in LA, he's going to have to, and he's going to have to tap into this winning culture that I described at the top of the show. He's got to know that that comes with responsibilities, and he can't do that bullshit he was doing in Memphis. The lights are brighter in LA, and it means more to us in LA. We expect championships in LA, not so much in Memphis. So if Ja comes correct and he's ready to take on that purple and gold mantle, more power to him and make it work, Pelinka. But unless that's the case, nah. Don't make a bad trade just because it comes with a good name. All right, that is the end of my fourth segment. I got 2 more segments. We're going to go to number 5. And number 5 is all about DK, Dalton Knecht. What's up with Dalton? What's going on with Dalton? It's frustrating to watch Dalton. Is his growth been stunted because of that trade that almost happened but got reversed? Is he damaged goods? Or is he just in a temporary slump? Now, I'm old enough to remember when KCP was on the Lakers, and KCP went through a whole slump that lasted like half the season, and people were very frustrated with KCP not producing as a 3-and-D wing. And then all of a sudden, his shots started falling, and people got over it, and they were really happy. And I'm hoping that something like that can happen with Dalton Knecht, because Dalton Knecht, I think his best game this year, he had like 20-something points. He had a good game, but he only had one good game out of all the games that he's played. And Dalton Knecht seems like he's very much a rhythm player. Like, he needs to get in early in order to get going. He can't just come off the bench and get 10 minutes and get going. Not every game. And so I really want to see Dalton develop, and I really want to see Dalton be strong-minded. And I've seen some footage circling online of everybody celebrating, and Dalton Knecht is kind of in a daze or doesn't look to be that happy. And I'm not sure if that's a trend or if that people are reading too much into that particular moment. But there are some fair questions about Dalton Knecht and his potential to do what we know he can. His shooting percentages are down over the last 5 games. His confidence seems visibly shaky. But here's the thing. He keeps taking the shots, though. And there's some kind of resilience that I think that embodies. So the analysis is incomplete. But so far, my preliminary analysis is that he's going through what we might describe as a rookie adjustment curve. He's adjusting to the difference between college ball and pro ball. And it's taking him some time. And I do think that the people who are eager to trade Dalton because he's not an instant impact maker are a little foolhardy, because some new players need time to develop. I mean, Max Christie didn't even give us what he was giving us, and I really enjoyed it before we traded him, until his third year. This is Dalton Connect's second year. And at the same time, Dalton Connect, I believe, is older than Jake LaRavia. So it's getting to be about that time for Dalton Connect to like snap out of whatever the fuck he's in, because we're in win now mode. But at the same time, he is in his second year. And he does have a lot of potential. And he's trying. I do see effort. So we'll see what that's about. But is he in a slump right now? Or is he just like, is this permanent? I don't know. I can't tell. And he also has gotten reduced touches as Reeves and Ayton eat up a lot of usage. But at the same time, he's had more touches and more usage because the Lakers have gotten bit by the injury bug. And so it's like, come on, Dalton, do your thing. Like the meme where you poke him with a stick. Do something. So I don't know, man. We've seen Dalton explode, but he's just very inconsistent, right? And so the lack of consistency can be frustrating because we know what he can do, but he's not doing what he can do. I mean, even his open corner threes, like I need him to hit them. If he's going to be in the game, I need you to at least hit those. If Dalton Connect is hitting open shots regularly, like Jake LaRavia is, then you can justify keeping him on the roster. But if he's not, then, you might want to look elsewhere. Here's what Dalton can control. He can control his defensive effort. And he can get better with his IQ, but he can control his defensive effort, his cutting, and his energy on plays. That's within his control. And I've seen him give effort on defense. He's a whole ass hack though, but I've seen him give energy. Like he's trying. And I want that effort to translate to effective basketball play. Here's what the coaches can do. They can script first quarter sets to get him going. They can run simple pin downs to reset his rhythm. And if and when he's on the floor with people like Luka and LeBron eventually, he's going to get wide open looks, because all of they're going to suck up the attention and the gravity away from him. And so all he has to do is just do his job. And so this may improve with time throughout the season. It's only been 9 games. We would do well to notice those things and give him credit, instead of just campaigning to trade him like a lot of casuals in the fan base do, because they don't know what they're saying. They don't know the implications. They think that he's just a trade chip to get something better, but what they don't understand is that if he's playing bad, his value is going to plummet, and he's not going to command that much back. You could throw him into a deal where he's not the main attraction of the deal. That's fine, but he doesn't even command that much salary, so he's barely useful even for that purpose. It makes more sense to develop him and then make sure that, to whatever extent that you're going to keep him, that whatever hardships he's going through don't hurt you in, say, the playoffs. And we have a lot of people who can compensate for his shortcomings. He could just sit on the bench this year, worst case, if we don't trade him. So his shooting mechanics and everything still look pure. And honestly, if he gets traded again, low-key, he might break out elsewhere because he'll get more touches and he'll be able to build his confidence. I mean, that happens a lot when Lakers trade away pick pieces. Look what happened to Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, who actually has been doing pretty well lately, but he's done well in spurts with both the Pelicans and the Bulls despite his injuries. I mean, there's so many former Lakers who move on to ball out. It's crazy. Jordan Clarkson, Lou Williams, Zubac, even Julius Randle. I mean, those are all former Lakers, bro. Like, what are we talking about? So this is a trend. The Lakers get rid of talent, and then everybody who was calling for them to be traded complain, like, why do we trade away this dude? He's so good. And so I feel like the casuals just don't understand what they're saying. All right. So I'll throw it to you guys. What's smarter or more prudent for the Lakers? Patience or packaging? Should we have patience with Dalton Connect? Let him develop into what we know he can become? Or should we package him out, send him out as soon as possible so we can try to get some kind of 3-and-D wing or whatever y'all think we need still? Which one's more prudent? Which would you choose? Leave a comment in the comment section down below. All right, that brings me to my last and final segment. We've got a few minutes here, and then the game is going to start. Game day preview. This is a road trip. This opens a 5-game road trip, and we're opening up with the Atlanta Hawks with no Trae Young. All right. So as you guys can see here, this is the injury report. All right. So we have Gabe Vincent is out. We knew that. That's not a surprise. Austin Reeves is out again. LeBron James is out. That's not a surprise. And Adu Thero's out. For the Hawks, they lost Luke Kennard. He's out. Mikal Alexander-Walker is out. Jalen Johnson, Nikola Dissent, and Kristaps Porzingis, the unicorn, is out. If you go to the full injury report, that also shows you that Trae Young is out as well. Here's Trae Young. We knew he was out. He's going to be out for a while because of the sprained MCL, I believe. Somebody fell into his knee. It was kind of horrible looking. Okay, so Trae Young is out as well. Now, it seems like the Lakers and the Hawks are equally shorthanded, which portends well for the Lakers because the Lakers can capitalize on that. We still got Slim Thug Lucas. That's one of our best players that are playing. And the Hawks' best players are not playing. Now, we're on the road. We're going to be in hostile territory. We're going to see whether that next man up mentality continues to hold true in Atlanta. And right now, currently, with a small sample size, we're undefeated on the road. And so we're going to see whether or not we can keep our winning streak alive and whether we can keep our streak of being undefeated on the road alive. And I think that this could be a great character-building trip for us in order to give you guys some context for what the Lakers are up against. Lakers could totally win today. And I want to give you the keys to success. What do the Lakers have to do in order to win today? We need to jump out on them early. We need to take advantage of the fact that they're shorthanded and that our next man up mentality seems to be a lot better than theirs because their record, as their record shows. We need to jump out on them early, get a lead, keep the lead. That quiets the road crowd and keeps them out of the game. Okay, that equals control of the game. So we need to control the game from the outset. Also, it's DeAndre Ayton versus Okongwu. And Okongwu is a pretty damn good rebounder. And DeAndre Ayton should shit on Okongwu. I don't think Okongwu can stop Ayton, right? But Okongwu can out-rebound Ayton if Ayton allows it. So there's going to be a rebound duel with Okongwu. And Okongwu is a pretty solid player. I think he's a really good center. I think that we need to have Marcus Smart pressuring the ball every minute he's in the game. And also Vando if we can when he's in the game. Limit Atlanta's wing looks. I think that those are keys to success as well. And we don't have to focus in on people like Trae who are kind of diabolical and creating stuff in the paint to kick out to those wings. So that makes our job easier on defense. Now, the Lakers have a bad habit of allowing teams to get over on them in terms of transition. Terrible transition defense. This team can get out and run. They're young. They can move. That's not going to be a good thing if we allow that. So we need to make sure that we're not allowing them, even on made buckets, to get out real fast and go score. Reeves is out, so he's not going to be able to help us, but they ain't got shit on Luka Doncic. They don't have the ability. Luka destroyed them for like 70 points the last time he played them. So they're going to have their hands full trying to stop Luka. They can't stop Luka because nobody can stop Luka. But they're going to be desperate. Now, they have some pretty decent defenders they can put on Luka and try to get the ball out of his hands, and they might blitz him, right? But that's where our role players need to step up. So they might. I could totally see them going like, all right, Luka's not going to beat us. We're going to blitz Luka, get the ball out of his hands, and make the rest of the Lakers beat us. And then the rest of the Lakers need to wax that ass. Jake LaRavia, DeAndre Ayton, Rui Hachimura, Marcus Smart need to dominate and step up as role players. And even deep into the two-way contracts with Nick Smith Jr. and even Bronny James. Like, y'all need to step up to the extent that you play tonight. Vando, all them. Okay? All right. So here's my prediction. Lakers are going to extend their winning streak tonight. I think they're going to have a relatively easy win over the Hawks on the road. And I think they'll win by double digits. This is my prediction. Okay? All right. So drop your predictions in the chat. Does the road trip cement us as the true 2-seed threat? And do the Lakers win tonight by double digits? Do they win by single digits? Do they win it all? Do they lose? Let me know down in the comments below. All right, folks. That is it for this edition of Laker Musings, where Laker loyalty meets analytical prowess. If you enjoyed the show, smash the like button, hit subscribe, drop your take in the comments, and follow all of our content through the link tree in the description below. Keep the debate going. Stay locked in for more musings, more analysis, and more Laker legacy takes. Until next time, stay loyal to the soil. LA till I die. Mamba mentality always. Let's go Lakers. Win this game tonight. Peace.